my friend. Let me make sure I'm going to pull YouTube up, then I'm going to mute it so I can see the chat.
Okay, hey everybody, I already started.
Hey everybody.
Doug here from 2 Plus Tough, hanging out with Jack from Rerolling Ones, because when you're not good at the game, you outsource intelligence. And so, Mr. Jack, you are 8 or 9 in ITC, is that right?
Yes, I'm 8 right now, but a good friend of mine, Jeremy V, congratulations to him. He just made Team America. He is 9.
Sweet.
But he only has 4 of the games in because he hasn't done a major yet. So as soon as he does one, he'll jump in front of me. But yes, okay. I am currently number 8 in ITC.
You want to turn your camera just a smidge so you're a little more in frame?
Oh, sorry.
Nah, you're
How's
fine.
that?
You're fine. Yeah, just because of the way it was sitting on my computer, it just kind of cut you off.
Oh.
You're good to go. Okay, so basically with this, we're going to just sit down. Games Workshop was kind enough to send both Rerolling Ones and 2 Plus Tough advanced copies of the Battletomes, and surprisingly, Feast of Bones, which I did not see coming at all.
Yeah, totally. It's sitting back there. And we had a build party yesterday, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so we just wanted to sit down and chat about I didn't have time because I got it so late to do a pre-made video to release this morning, so I thought we would do a live stream, and then Jack was like, hey, can I join you? Yes, always yes. So that is what we got going on right now. I'm just making sure I can see comments and stuff as they come in, so we can see questions. I see there's a Spider-Man or a Venom in the background.
Oh, what? Hey, so Wildcrawler, right? What are you, Spider-Man or Venom?
I'm Spider-Man.
He's Spider-Man.
He's Spider-Man. That's the best Spider-Man. Sweet. Okay.
Are you live? I can't see it.
Yeah, I am. I got people in the chat.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. It was just me.
Okay, here we go. So we're gonna start off. You voted for Mawtribes. Let's kick that off here. So, first of all, lots of art, super cool. I'm gonna kind of glide past that because I want to make lore videos out of it. Haven't had a chance to read it. Let's see. So I'm gonna go all the way back to.
Yeah, they do have lore about the Everwinter here. I was doing a little skimming of it last night. And,
oh yeah.
Yeah, the Necroquake, like it does to everything else, it starts interfering with the Everwinter. Damn Necroquake.
Right on. And I'll adjust my light to make it a little bit stronger here. Sorry, I don't normally do these kinds of book reviews, and so I'm just making sure everything's visible, but not like so starkly bright that it interferes with everybody. Okay, here we go. So, kicking off with Mawtribes. We didn't plan this at all, so I'm going to go ahead and do the allegiance abilities, and then we can meander through stuff that sticks out to you. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am getting right to the page. And I would just want to, I know it's fun to, people poke fun at, my brother's here. People poke fun at, like, people who read the rules and read the books. They do provide a very useful service, and I'd like to thank them. I know Dark Artisan does it, and Guerrilla Miniature Games does it as well. But we're going to try to provide a little something different. If anybody in the chat has any questions, maybe we can look up something for you. But so
yeah, I was thinking about that.
The elite.
I always poked fun at people who read the rules, but I see what I'm understanding now is if I do it live, I don't mind it because it's more conversational. People can ask for references and that kind of stuff, and I think that's a little better. So,
yes.
Kicking off with allegiance abilities. So we have trampling charge after an ogre or Rhinox unit. Those are the keywords. Makes a charge move. Let's see here. Sorry, my screen's being a little funny. Makes a charge move. Pick one enemy unit within 1 inch of this unit and roll a number of dice equal to the unmodified charge roll for that move. Add 2 to each roll. The ogre unit made the charge move has 8 or more models or is a monster. For each 6 up, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So everybody gets impact damage on a 6.
Yeah, I love this. It's very, like, narrative and flavorful. Like, it's a big, there's a lot of mass in this army if you're playing a Total War or something like that. So there's going to be impact hits, and everybody gets it. I love it, except for Noblars, of course, which makes sense. And so, and it covers, like, I think what are the Ogre Riders called for Beastclaw Raiders? The Mournfang. Does the Mournfang have the Rhinox keyword? But it does have the Ogre keyword. Never mind.
Yeah, they would have the Ogre. I'm curious.
Everything in the army except for Noblars is going to get the impact hits, which I want to check out the I think they're the Gorgers. I'm not sure if they have the. Yes, they do have the ogre keyword. So yeah, everybody gets it except for Noblars.
Yeah, and Rhinox is something I wasn't familiar with. So
I
that
think
is.
the Rhinox is just covering the scrap launcher.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that's cool. So if you have a unit of, I think they're called the Gorgers now. If you have a unit of 8, you're going to roll, or excuse me, a unit of 8 or more, you're going to roll all those dice.
Yeah. And that's the thing. When you have so few models, all these little things that you can do to put pressure on your opponent is super good.
Grasp the unmodified charge roll. So you're going to have, no matter what, this is going to be a minimum of 3.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's the charge roll, not the charge distance, right?
Yep. So even if you go 3 inches,
you're going to get all those dice.
Grasp of the Everwinter. At the start of hero phase, roll 1 dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of any Beastclaw Raider. If that roll is equal to or less than the number of the current battle round, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So your Beastclaw Raider guys, and that's even like the basic, what are they called?
The Yetis are going to get that. The cats.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. The cats is what I couldn't name. The Frosttooth Sabers, there we go.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
That's cool. Gets better. The more stuff stuck in. It's interesting because, like, I'm basing off. I went through the book last night, and so the further on the game is, the better it's going to be. But like Beastclaw Raiders usually kill stuff early.
Yeah.
So I don't know how useful it is. Like, usually from my experience, of course, I haven't played anything new. It's like it's either they win big early because they're smashing stuff, or they lose, or so it's going to be interesting how that works out. Like how much of this stuff is going to be left. Usually by the end of a game, it's just the dregs fighting.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting how that works out. But it's cool rule.
Yeah. And then the big one here is Might Makes Right. When determining control of an objective, each ogre counts as 2 models instead of 1, and each ogre monster, so anything from, Beastclaw Raiders shy of the Mornfang Cavalry, I think, and count as 10 models instead of 1. So that's
so Mornfang are still going to count as 2 instead of, because they don't have the monster keyword. But that's so good for especially if you I think you can take monsters as battle line now if you have a
Beastclaw General, I think it is.
Yeah, and those are 10 each. That's nice. And so you're not kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you want to go monster heavy, which is it's kind of nice. It's nice. It's because Fire Slayers don't have that, or Flesh Eater Courts, they don't have that. So this is nice.
Well, can't oh, you mean the
it counts as 10.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I was like, they can make battle line stuff. Yeah, I get you.
If you take, even with the steam tanks, if you take a all steam tank army, those are all still counting as 1, even though they're big. So this is nice.
Right on. Let's see. Then there is. There's a. One thing, and this is just a side thing. Both of these books have something that popped up in the WarClan book where they have designer's notes that answer questions before they need an FAQ, which is just nice.
Really cool.
Ravenous Brutes. If an ogre unit is more than 3 inches from enemy units, it is hungry. If an ogre unit is within 3 inches, it is eating. Add 2 to the move characteristics if it's hungry. Add 2 to the bravery if it's eating, which is awesome. It's like a perpetual banner for everybody. It just makes you faster, makes you braver.
Look at everybody pretty much has +2 to their movement. So if you go look at the Iron Guts, they have a movement of 6. Really, they have a movement of 8.
Right, because you can get in there. Yep. So that's huge. Actually, one thing that you and I were building stuff last night, and Josh asked, like, are they going back to making those stupid narrative rules? Because he saw there's something later in the book that's like, if your opponent is hungry or something like that. And I didn't understand the context of his question. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, made perfect sense.
Yeah. So it was like one of those things, like if you had to say for the lady, or if you had a beard, you got a bonus. He was like, so if your guys are hungry, so if you're hungry, you get a bonus. No, so,
so
my brother was dropped on his head as a kid, but it's all right.
So we have Beastclaw Raiders. Basically, this last whole section is like they basically added prayers, Everwinter prayers. Just kind of tells you Beastclaw Raider priests know these things, and then your standard. You can also give a keyword for a Mawtribe type thing. So which is their
Which
storm
is
storm
cool.
host or temple or
it sticks with their allure, as the Beastclaw Raiders were more shamanistic and didn't have any wizards and stuff, and now they actually, they get prayers, which is good.
I didn't think they were going to give them 6 of those subfactions. That's sweet. I was thinking like 3 or 4.
I wish they had more integrated stuff, honestly, because it looks like it's either or. Like your gut busters, not gut, gut busters.
It was basically foot ogres versus beast claws.
Yeah, I was hoping more of an integration, or that it would be like it would be the Orc War Clans, where there's 2 separate armies in there that can make a third. This is kind of like they're more segregated.
Yeah. And as we all know, separate but equal is not equal. And so... No, but you're right. So in terms of like battalions, there's nothing really that crosses over, which, there's pros and cons too, but yeah, I get your point.
Battalions? Yeah, there's nothing that crosses over.
So I was just explaining your state there. Do you want to talk about the Mawtribes? Do you want to talk about a few command traits, whatever that stood out to us?
Yeah, we can each pick out a command trait that sticks out to us.
Go for it. You fire when ready.
Okay, the Tyrant one, again, you're on your feet now.
Mm-hmm.
And so the one that's, it might not be one I take, but it definitely has its uses, especially if you want to go like hero hunting and you're pretty fast, because that +2 movement when you're not in combat is the re-rolling hits and wound rolls if you're going against heroes.
Yeah.
And I noticed that as a little combo, because it doesn't say failed, it just says re-roll hits. And for instance, if you give your guy Sword of Judgment or something, you're re-rolling hits so you can fish for those 6s, which explode then. And since you're already going against heroes for re-rolling, you can just go all in on a hero hunter unit. So he's re-rolling, he's every 6 to hit on a hero is D6 mortal wounds and you're re-rolling hits. So
I love it. I'm just answering a quick question from the chat. Yes, I believe the Hussguards are they're the priests. Yes. Yeah, priests. Okay. Yes.
Anybody have any questions? Right now we're going over Mawtribes.
Yep.
But if you do have a question, just type in question and we can look it up for you.
One of the things that I like, as far as my pick for command trait, after the start of your hero phase, if this general is eating, he's in combat, he heals D3 wounds. They're so beefy, and just keeping him alive. The Tyrant's nasty. Like we can talk about his Warscroll later, but he's nasty. He took out, even the old Warscroll was super nasty because he took out half a unit of Ard boys that I had back in the day when I was playing against a guy at Monroe. How about traits of the Butcher? Now the Butcher didn't get a new model, which is a shame.
Yeah, that's a rough one because those models they're not the best. And so I was listening to Hey Woe's video today. Like, if you're into, this is a perfect model for if you want to, similar to what Vince and Tom said on Warhammer Weekly as well.
Mm-hmm.
My brother just walked past me in a robe. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Where it's like
Hugh Hefner over there.
It's part of the hobby. And in this book, I'm not sure if Doug mentioned this earlier, they have a whole kit bash page of stuff that give you ideas on kit bashing, which I never noticed before, which is really cool. But one that sticks out to me, I just love the name, Questionable Hygiene.
Yes.
And so every enemy within 6 inches, you're -1 to hit. And that's for shooting and melee, because a lot of -1 to hit stuff is for melee only. But again, it's 6 inches, so you kind of got throw your Butcher in there. And I probably wouldn't make my Butcher my general.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them, Spell Eater is not bad as well.
No, but the only thing with that is it's endless spells, which not everyone takes. The one that I like is Gastromancy, which is this general knows all the spells from the spell lore. You're just like, he just knows.
That one's good, but you only have all these casters are just one caster, I think, unless you take one of the Storm Hosts. I call everything the Storm Host.
I know, yeah. I know, yeah.
One of the Storm Hosts gives you +1 to cast. But if you're not taking if you're going to take Gastromancer, you probably want to take that one, as far as because having all the spells is not as good if you can only cast one of them.
Well, more what I was thinking about is if you take more spellcasters and you give this to your general, basically seeing what spells do you need last. Like, he can always go last to be like, okay, what do I need to shore up, kind of thing. I don't know. That was my thought, but The idea of just knowing everything is just kind of fun to me. Reminds me of the old like high elf stuff where they just like, we just know magic. We just know all of it.
Yeah. I always want to point out there's multiple ways to play Age of Sigmar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like there's the hyper competitive going to tournament ways, which I do when I go, because I'm number 8 ITC. I'm sorry. But there's other ways where you're just having fun with your friends, and I would love to see a caster heavy, just 6 butchers casting spells. It'd be great.
Yeah. Connor, I don't know if they got points changes because I don't know what the old points were, but we can walk through those at the end here, and you can.
Yeah, if you want to, we can look it up. If you want to point, if you can look on your phone and see what they are currently, I can tell you right now. The current points for just regular gluttons is 120 for a unit of 3, and you get a discount at a unit of 12 for 400. So 400 for 12. That's what they currently are. That's what they are on the book. I'm not sure what they currently are.
Okay, let's go on to.
And no, the ogres didn't get endless spells, sadly.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Any traits of the Beastclaw and or the Hunter? I think they just kind of cleaned up some. Like I remember all these titles because I have that old book around here somewhere. They just kind of cleaned up quite a few of these things, rules wise. Anything stand out to you?
Making your general a priest.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And there's a lot of stuff. For instance, like skinks and things like that can retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're within 3 inches of the general, you can't retreat, and that's nice.
Yeah.
But there are things like teleports and stuff that wouldn't affect that.
Right. I like once Voice of the Avalanche. Once per battle round, this general can use a command ability. Doesn't matter which one. On their Warscroll. So I'm wrong. Without spending 1 command point.
Oh yeah. I wasn't too impressed with the command abilities for Beastclaw Raiders. So that one, that'd be one I would skip.
Honestly, and I haven't looked too deep into those. It's more that I don't know. I'm kind of biased from the Warclans book, where like that kind of economy of doing stuff for free is huge in that book. Like it's just everywhere.
Here it is. This one is really good.
Okay.
Reroll wound rolls for your melee weapons, including your mount's melee weapons, if you're wholly within enemy territory.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. But you got to realize there's some battle plans where the enemy territory is actually really, really tiny, like down in the corner, and you're probably not going to go there because there's no objectives there.
Yep.
So it could be a waste.
It could be, but conversely, there are battle plans where their territory is half the table, even though they can only deploy in a part of it. Does that make sense? Like when I was playing Beasts of Chaos, they're like, you get to re-roll hit rolls if you're in enemy territory. But I just have to get like an inch across the half of the table. I don't have to be like up in your grill where you deployed, which is different.
We got a question. Hans Peter wants to know if there are any good traits. I don't know. It's hard to say what's good. Like there are lots of good ones. Are you saying is there one where it's like this is the best one? You got to take it. Because a lot of them are situational, I think, as far as the tyrant's traits. But,
I think the honestly for both of these books, I think kind of the thesis statement is the units are awesome, and there's also heroes too, where like they're not like massive force multipliers like with like skeletons or something like that, where it's a crap unit that gets turned to 11 by heroes. A lot of the command traits for tyrants are all about making the tyrant really good, but he's still just a dude on foot.
I'll give you my opinion of the book now instead of staying in. I think this makes Beastclaw Raiders and Ogres better, but they're making like bottom tier stuff better, which then puts it in the middle.
Yep.
I think which is fine. Middle is a good place to reside, and I think this book, nothing stands out as spectacular. Like a lot of stuff got changed, but again, they were. If you look at the results for tournaments like LLVs and stuff, they were consistently on the bottom. Yeah. And I think we'll raise it up, but it's not going to raise it to beat Slaanesh or anything like that, in my opinion.
No, I don't think so. But, I think the biggest thing was the objectives change, how much they count for objectives, because it allows them to play the game like everybody else, like with the way battle plans are written for a number of models and that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I don't think, nothing here looks...
We got another question real quick.
Go for it.
Good evening from Finland. Good evening, Finland. Nice.
What's up?
You guys like the Bonereapers aesthetically?
I do.
They were growing on me. Like I low key want the army now. Especially like I want 4 of those.
That's why I went over last night and got it for you got it from you right away.
I'm all building cities of Sigmar, and I'm ready to push these things to the side. Anybody want to buy some think tanks?
Oh my gosh. We'll kind of hammer through these. Anything for the Tyrant's artifacts that you thought was super, super legit?
Yeah. There's a Icebrow Hunter trait. I probably wouldn't make an Icebrow Hunter my general unless wasn't too impressed. Yeah, items. Just look for a couple items that stand out.
The one that I would always take for items, just because I love it, is the Sky Titan Scatter Pistol. His pistol has an attacks characteristic of 6 instead of 2. He just got a 6-barrel gun. Blam! I love it.
Yeah, that's cool. If I would make if I was going to make an never mind, because it's an item, but +2 to your movements, okay, but you can always take Thermal Rider Cloak, which is +4 to your movement, and you fly.
Right.
That's constant instead of when you're hungry, so I probably would skip that one. But this one's good. There's a add 1 to hit rolls made by friendly Gutbuster units wholly within 12 of the bear that target a monster or hero.
Mm-hmm.
Monsters and heroes are a big part of this game.
And that's probably what? That's probably the biggest force multiplier he's got for the army. Like, if you want him to be a support hero, that's pretty much it. Because everything else, the next one for me is if you're doing that hero hunter thing you said before, you can make his glaive have a run characteristic of 3 instead of 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Yeah, there's a once per battle item. I usually don't like taking once per battle stuff.
Agreed.
Either I forget to use it or I use it and then I wish I could use it later. I'd rather have something that's consistent.
Yeah, totally. For butchers, there's one that's add 2 to the roll when your bearer attempts to unbind or dispel an endless spell.
Okay. I like the one that's I cast 1 additional spell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a great one.
Combo with the one where if you learn every spell.
Totes. Let's see here. And we have the Relics of Everwinter, which again, I believe are pretty much the same. They just cleaned it up. I haven't gone item by item. Let's see here. Yeah, stuff
there
that's...
are a few traits and items that buff Yetis. And so if you go all in on Yetis, there are things that I think it'd be nice to take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's move an extra 2 inches when they make a normal move during that phase, so that makes them +4. So what does that make them, 13 now?
Yeah, there's the Raised by Yetis for the Icebrow Hunter. It's add 1 to the attacks characteristics if they're wholly within 12. And then there's the Corvalex Flank. It's friendly Icefall Yeti units that are wholly within 12 of the bearer start at the start of the move phase, move an extra 2 inches. And they do still have the pile-in rule, which is a great thing to get around always strikes last type stuff.
Yeah.
Or strike first. Yeah, and so if you're going all Yetis, which those models aren't the best, but hey, I have a friend in the local area who has 30. You might want to look into those. But let's see. With the change to the Stone Skeleton got changed again. Now it's just a straight 5-up save, similar to Skaven.
Yeah.
Like what are they? Vermin Lords. But there's a reroll unmodified hit rolls of 6 for attacks made with missile weapons. The shooting is coming back. Shooting is always dangerous. That's how I make my bread in tournaments. I would hate to have to reroll 6s to hit. And so if you have a character you want to live, maybe throw that on them.
Yeah, no joke.
And again, and so let's check out the spell lords. We got Gut Magic.
Go
Anything
for it.
stands out to you?
I was just looking at. I had to double check to make sure there's a keyword. I thought maybe the Mournfane pack had the Rhinox keyword, but they don't, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, they do have the Ogre keyword though.
Yeah, totally. Let's see.
I think the Rhinox may just be the scrap launcher and the cannon.
I think it's the little pigs that are with them. I like Blood Feast, which is pretty simple. It's just pick a unit that's not a monster, and it's wholly within 18 of the caster. Add 1 to attacks characteristics of that unit's melee weapons. So
yeah,
that's more just force multiplying. What'd you pick?
Greasy Deluge. It's
Okay.
a -1 to hit, so you cast it on an enemy unit within 18, and the -1 hit rolls made for the unit until the start of your next heal phase. It's just a defensive thing.
Nice. Hey, and you know what goes really well with that? If we look at the lore of the Sun Eater, Billowing Ash is a -1 to be hit for friendly units wholly within 12 inches of the caster.
Oh yeah, so that's a nice little bubbles. -2 to hit is brutal. All right,
So,
but you're -2 to hit me.
Yep.
It's nice.
Beyond that, let's see. It's funny. So, Tongues of Flame. I had a question about this because you're more of a rules-minded guy. Casting value 6. Pick one enemy unit that has 5 or more models, and it's visible to the caster in 18 inches. Until the start of your next hero phase, each time that unit finishes any type of move, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. So would that be a move, a charge, and a pile-in?
Yes, sir. It wouldn't be a setup, but it would be those 3 things.
Okay. Dang.
So things that pile in twice.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's gonna get them. They're gonna tick off.
Yep.
And now this is the prayers. This is a big thing because you can take that trait that makes your general a priest.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's like all these prayers go off on a 4+, which is tough. Like my brother plays Seraphon, and they have the priest, and he misses that prayer roll.
Yep.
Constantly.
Yep. It doesn't feel like half the time. One notable one here. I like Keening Gale. If you're going with Mournfang, it adds 3 inches to the movement characteristic, and that stacks with the being hungry, so that's a +5.
Yeah, so and all these prayers, they coincide with the prayer rolls where you can only, you can only cast one of them.
Yeah.
You can attempt one of them once. You can't do it multiple times.
Yep.
Doug is not starting ogres. Doug has traded his ogres.
The mount traits are cool. I don't have anything. They kind of, like you hinted at it, but we'll talk about it. Where they changed the way that the stone skeleton or whatever stone skin of the Stonehorn works. So he's not as tanky as he used to be. Mm-hmm. And nothing here really, there's improve rend, add 1 to its wound characteristic, that kind of stuff. But
yeah, I think like you said earlier, like people are saying like the units are really, really good and the heroes they're there.
Yeah, I mean there's some cool stuff.
They do work.
Yeah.
But they've definitely changed some stuff. The things that people like, for instance, the wreath from the Thunder Tusk, mm-hmm. the 2 up on 6 mortal wounds, that is completely different now. That is just changed, and it used to be one of the biggest feel bad things, especially to like newer players and stuff, because you're just like, wait, what? You killed my character, and I don't get it just on the 2 up. You killed my guy,
mm-hmm.
and like pick him up. But once you like get into playing more, you realize there's workarounds. You got to put some damage on the guy and whatnot. So I feel they changed that just to make a better play experience.
Totally.
But yeah.
One that I do like, and I wanted to point out from these 2 mount trait tables, because you have a whole table for Stonehorns and a whole table for Thunder Tusks. Those are the 2 variants you can build, and you can put any rider on any variant. Is number 6 on the Thunder Tusk, where if this model has not made a charge move in the same turn, enemy units that are within 3 inches of it at the start of the combat phase fight at the end of the combat phase. So if they try to get into you, they have to fight last. So that's a cool little thing where he is guaranteed, and some of the other Beastclaw Raider stuff would stack to make that pretty nasty. You can have him do some damage before he gets clobbered. So
can you have a same mount trait multiple times?
I don't believe so. Let's see. You can choose one extra one. Hero cannot have... No, army cannot include duplicates. Same last sentence.
Oh, that'd be great. I would just have a bunch of those.
I think they mixed the wording up a little bit on the War Clans one, but it's the same idea,
Yeah.
So you get one for free. You can take an additional one for every battalion, but you can never double up.
Yeah. I think that one's a must-take. Make somebody fight last, because there's fighting first in this game. That's good.
Yeah, no joke. The Great Mawpot is a terrain feature you get where you set it up on the battlefield more than 1 inch from any of the terrain, more than 12 inches from enemy territory. So that could be awkward with that like diagonal deployment, but whatever. In some missions, let's see. Add 1 to casting unbinding rolls for wizards. I kind of wish they did the Skaven Nahol thing where it also gave you a bonus to your prayers, because then those 4-ups wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
The Great Mawpot is said to be either full or empty. At the start of the battle, it's full. In your hero phase, one ogre hero within 6 inches of a full Great Mawpot can spend all of the Mawpot's magic. If you do so, you can heal D3 wounds allocated to each friendly ogre unit wholly within 36 inches of the Great Mawpot. Roll separately for each unit. So that's, I mean, it's not, it's certainly not a terrain feature that I'm like, when you start this army, you have to buy it. It's not like Sylvaneth and their Wildwoods, right? Where it's like integral, but it's cool. What are your thoughts?
I gotta say, like, I've heard mixed, like, some people don't like how it looks, some people do. It's everything in this game, a lot of matter of opinions. I think it looks great. I think it's awesome that they just take scraps from the battlefield and hammer it together to make this pot. Like, there's a corn symbol, and I just noticed there's a Stormcast shield down here. And if Doug had this, he'd probably paint it like my guy's shield. Which
I would. Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as its effects go, it's not super crazy. It's not something like... It's not a must-buy, but it's a cool thing, and why not? I mean, yeah, whatever. Let's see. Oh, if any model is slain within 6 inches of an empty Mawpot, it becomes full. So if you kill near it, everybody eats whatever they are just killed. And so then we jump into the 6 kind of sub-factions, we'll call them. Do you want to go through them all? Do you just want to pick out ones that you thought were super interesting?
Oh, I actually haven't had a chance to look at them. So if we go through it, it'd be me giving you my live reaction.
Well, let's get that, because everyone knows live reactions are the new thing on YouTube and Twitter.
If anybody has any questions, right now we're going through the Mawtribes book. So just type in question, and we can look something up for you.
Yep. So the first one is the Meatfist Mawtribe. I have not had a chance to go through these either. I was reading the lore for them, but I didn't read the rules yet. So you can roll 1 additional dice when a Meatfist unit uses the Trampling Charge battle trait.
That's nice. So you automatically get 1 dice.
Yep.
That's good.
So it will be a minimum of, you have to make it into your charge range. It's a minimum of 4, right? When you charge. Mm-hmm. Yep. Their command ability, you can use this command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, pick 1 friendly Meatfist hero. Till the end of that phase, add 1 to attacks characteristics of friendly Meatfist Ogre Glutton units, Gulping Bite, which is one of their attack profiles, while they're wholly within 18 inches of that hero. So he can add 1.
I think that's a 3-up, no rend, 1 damage. So you get 2 of those.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's not. There's worse things. It could be 4-up. You know?
Yeah, and that's
like everybody's hitting better.
Yep, Gulping Bite. Yep, you're exactly right. No rend, 1 damage.
If the general's eating, so if the general's in combat, you get +1 command point. And the armor is the Gut Plate of Gur. Reroll save rolls are 1 for that target the bearer. I'm not like in a world where you have a command ability that just lets you do that. It's okay.
Yeah.
Not the biggest fan of this one.
No, it seems for the people who have painted their stuff with the big red bloody hand, it's cool to be able to take something like that, but it doesn't stand out to me as like...
Of course, there might be worse ones.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so hop into the Bloodgullet Mawtribe. That's awesome. Let's see. The butchers of this one know 1 extra spell from the lore of the gut magic. In addition, a friendly Bloodgullet butchers can attempt to cast 1 extra spell. So that's what you were talking about before. Yeah, that's
talking about where you get the extra spell and an extra spell, which is great.
Yeah, the attempt to cast is a huge deal. Command ability. You can use this command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, pick one of their butchers. Until the end of that phase, you can reroll wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by friendly Bloodgullet Ogre Gluttons. So everything's buffing the basic dude. I like that so far. Reroll wound rolls for it. So that gives you wound rolls for all your attacks, not just that one specific one.
Yeah, for melee stuff, but yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead with the command trait artifact.
In command trait, friendly units at the start of the pile-in move, wholly within 12 of the general, can move an extra 3 inches when they pile in, which is good, but it doesn't sound as good because you have to be in combat.
Yeah.
And it doesn't let you be in combat. Like if they added 3 inches to that, similar to like the Yetis, that'd be really good. But with 40 mil bases, it might, or like if you have cavalry, and it just says friendly units, not friendly ogre units or something. So this would work on allies and whatnot. So it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd get a 9-inch pile Yeti instead of a 3-inch pile. And let's go with the Artifact of Power. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. At the end of the combat phase, if any wounds inflicted by that weapon in the phase were allocated to an enemy model and not negated, you heal D3 wounds allocated to each friendly Bloodgullet Ogre unit wholly within 12. That's really good. Wholly within 12 inches, that's a big, wholly within 12 is big. But again, you have big bases as well. But yeah, so far, out of the two we've looked at, I like this one better.
Yeah, for sure. I like that. So I like that they have all this stuff to buff butchers, which then that trickles down to the command ability, which does that for the basic ogre dude. Mm-hmm. But nothing here requires you to take a butcher as your general, which is nice, frankly. Yeah. All right, we got Underguts. We'll continue our apparently.
These are the ones that live underground.
Yeah, we'll continue our unspoken agreement where I read the first two and you read the second two. So, abilities.
I don't stumble.
Yeah, Gunmaster. So, lead belchers, guns used by Underguts lead belchers have a range characteristic of 18 instead of 12. Let's take a look at that gun. I assume they're pretty tasty. Let's see.
They're okay. They're okay.
Yeah, lead belchers.
They get D6 shots instead of D3, which that's nice. And this would help that as far as like you wouldn't have to move if your range is longer.
Oh, I see. Yeah, if they don't move. Okay. I was like, so no, it says D3, bro. No.
To get them in range or whatever. And then you're doing D6 shots each if you have a lot.
Yeah. And these are now in units of, these are the ones that are units of 2 now, right?
Yeah. They come in units of 2.
Yeah. Command ability. You can use this command ability at the start of your shooting phase. If you do so, pick one friendly Underguts hero. To the end of that phase, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of missile weapons used by friendly Underguts Iron Blasters. Units wholly within 12 inches of that hero. You can only use this command ability once per shooting phase.
Yeah, so it seems like this... the Iron Blaster, that's a cannon, right?
Yes.
Okay. So... definitely, this one is definitely all in on the shooting. I'd probably pick this one.
Yeah. Oh, big surprise there.
Shooting is awesome.
Okay, right on. You want to grab the command trait?
Yes, we'll go Massive Scars. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks made with missile weapons that target this general. That's the command trait. Oh, it's the trait. Sorry, I'm thinking ability. So -1 to be wounded. It's survivability. Maybe if you combo it with the one where you're reroll 6s to wound, you're going to be really difficult to kill. And if you're like, for instance, on a Thunder Tusk, Frost Sword on Thunder Tusk as your general, you have that 5-up save extra as well. So,
hold on, my cat's banging on the door. You keep going with that.
Like the Ethereal Amulet, you're 3-up, unrendable. With a 5-up extra save, -1 to be wounded with missile weapons only. But again, and then so the whole, if it was just -1 to wound period, it'd be great. But not everybody shoots, so it's kind of but you'd be able to live, especially if you have a shooting army and you're staying back in shooting. Okay, and let's go with the Artifact of Power. It's a Noblar Blast Keg. Monster battle. Again, not a huge fan of that, but let's see what it does. At the start of your shooting phase, you can use the Noblar Blast Keg. If you do so, pick one enemy unit within 9 of the bearer that is visible to them and roll 6 dice. Add 1 for each roll for every 10 models in the target unit. Okay, not bad. For every 6+, except for D3 water wounds. I'm going to pass on that. You have to take it too. I'm not impressed with that item. Again, I'm not impressed with once per game stuff.
Yeah.
But again, so let's say you roll 6 dice and there's just, 5 guys there. You're probably just doing D3 mortal wounds.
Totally.
Maybe you're lucky and you get 2 6s. Maybe you're super lucky and you get 3 6s.
Right.
But then what if you roll all 1s? So you do 3 wounds once per game. I'm not a huge fan of that one.
Hans asked the question, lead belchers have... Hans asked the question, lead belchers have D6 shots? No, it's only when they stay still. Otherwise, it's D3.
Yeah, they stay still, they get D6. Yeah.
So, okay, I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, that would be fun in a friendly game, I think.
Totally.
But, like, if, say, you're going to have to take it if you take this battalion. So, it's going to get used because I think people will play this, especially if I played Mawtribes, I'd play this just because I think shooting is still so good.
Yeah.
Shooting is so good.
Yep.
Because it's like you get like every like combat phase, you get like 1.5 combat phases kind of thing. Anyway, now let's go over to the Boulderhead Mawtribe.
So, excuse me, got Fearsome Breed. Add 1 to wounds characteristics of friendly Boulderhead monsters. In addition, each Boulderhead hero on Stonehorn or Thundertusk, instead of only 1, can be given a mount trait.
I like that.
Instead of only... Oh, each hero can be given 1 instead of only 1. Okay, I get it now. I was like, you mean an additional 1? No, totally. Okay, I like that. So, yeah.
Do the Beast Riders get a mount trait?
The Beast Riders. Oh, the pair of dudes.
Yeah.
It's a mount. So what if you gave that to them? In addition, no, I don't think so. Because let me see.
Okay, but they would get +1 wound.
Yes, yeah, because they are a monster. Mount traits. Yeah, it has to be a hero. Heroes mounted on Stonehorn Thundertusk. Yep. So they wouldn't, but that's cool. Okay. The second part of that ability is Deadly Hail, which is add 1 to prayer rolls for Pulverizing Hailstorm when a Boulderhead priest is chanting a prayer.
Which that is good, because now it makes them like everybody else's priests, where they're going
on 3 up.
Just on that particular prayer, though, but it's still going to help you out. Yeah, so instead of half, you're getting like 1/3 of your prayers.
Pulverizing Hailstorm. Strength. There's something I'm missing. I don't see pulverizing.
Is it on me now?
Huh?
Is it on me now?
Oh, I see. So yeah, I'm sorry. I was kind of confused because I don't see Pulverizing Hailstorm. I assumed it was on their Warscroll, but it's just on their. It's just one of the prayers you can take.
Gotcha.
Pick a point on the battlefield within 18 inches. Roll a dice for each unit within 3 inches of that point. On a 3-up, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. So that one gets easier to cast.
Yeah, but you can't cast. You can't do multiple prayers. I don't think, right?
That one's kind of a mirror. But I think the mount trait one is pretty cool.
Yes.
And then the command ability here is uses command ability at the start of any phase. If you do so, pick one friendly Boulderhead hero that has a mount. Till the end of that phase, use the top row of that unit's damage table regardless of how many wounds it suffered.
Oh, that's pretty cool, because of course has a spell that does that, but this is great because you're automatically fighting at the mount is fighting at the top damage table. Say if you're in combat and you're probably not going to live, you can pack a punch before you go out, or even kill the thing that would probably kill you. And you use this. Except you have to use it at the start, which is it's doing stuff at the start of a phase is huge, because it's like, oh man, I wish I would have done that, so this guy can live, but I had to do it at the start of the phase, and now we've already done one combat, and I'm SOL.
Yeah, so, the converse of that is, say, like, you get big stuff into combat, and then at the start of the combat phase, right, let's say it's your opponent's turn, and you're doing back and forth on combat, you say, boom, this guy who's almost dead, he's going to fight at the top of his profile. Now he becomes a priority, and so it kind of like, maybe, I can see it affecting decision-making more than it does, like, actual gameplay. Does that make sense? I don't know. I think there's uses for it, but I think it's a good bait.
You got a question about a Warscroll. Do the priests have any bonuses on their Warscroll? Let's go check that out. I'll skip ahead real quick. Now we have to go the stuff on Thundertusk. That's right.
Yeah, so it's Huskard on Stonehorn or Thundertusk. The Thundertusk has more prayer stuff. Let's see.
I'm looking at the Huskard on Thundertusk, looking for increase on prayers. There are prayers on here that are not in the ones you get to pick. That looks like they still go off on a 4-up, which kind of is bad. Blizzard Speaker. In your heal phase, this model can chant one of the following prayers. If you do so, pick one prayer and then make a prayer roll on rolling on dice. Add one. Oh, there we go. Does have a bonus. Add one for each friendly Thundertusk within 18 of the model. So you definitely have to roll a big Thundertusk army. On a 1, 2, 3, the prayer does nothing. On a 4-up, it's answered. And the prayers are Winter's Endurance. If the prayer is answered, pick one friendly Beastclaw Raiders unit wholly within 18 of this model. You can heal it D3. Good. And the other one, Beastclaw Raider unit wholly within 18 again. The unit starts until the start of your next hero phase. Add 1 to rune rolls made by melee weapons. I like that. And
they're fine. I mean, I don't think they leaned into this like they did with like Corn Priests or the War Chanta. It's not, they didn't go that hard where like this is now a integral part of the army kind of thing.
With these prayers, similar to like you just said, Slaughter Priests, and Corn armies, you can do multiple blood boils. Whereas these, you can, if you have multiple Huskguards, they can each do this prayer. Like if you want to heal 2d3, you can get that. Nice. Or I wonder if this Winter Strength, does that stack? Add 1 to rune rolls for attacks made with melee weapons. Then have another guy casting on them again. Now you're wounded on 2s.
I don't see anything that says it doesn't.
I think most of the things are wounded on 3s on here anyway, so it wouldn't really matter. But it looks like it stacks.
I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, also, like, I don't think they were super worried about it, seeing how everything goes off on a 4.
Everything is a wound of 3 on here, so it's like, all right, you're wounded on 1, but 1s always fail.
Totally. Okay.
So to answer the question, there is a bonus to these prayers, not the other prayers, but these prayers.
Yeah.
If there is another Huskguard within range, and yes, Gorgers are a thing, which is like we're gonna get back on track. But this makes me think about the Seraphon released. I was figuring that would get a whole new model range because so much of the stuff is fine cast, but considering that so much of this army is fine cast and they just left it in, that maybe Seraphon is like they're not going to get much new stuff and it's just going to be like this.
Yeah, which honestly I'm still down for.
I'm happy my brother won't have to paint anything new because he still has a bunch of paint now. Yeah. All right, let's go on to Thunderbellies.
Yep. Okay. Abilities: Swift Outflank. Friendly Thunderbellies Mournfang Pack units wholly within 12 inches of the edge of the battlefield at the start of your charge phase can charge in that phase, even if they ran in the same turn. Now, one thing I want to point out with this one, right out of the gate, the abilities thing is all about Thunderbellies Mournfang packs. Just remember, with these things, you're not obligated to take Beastclaw Raiders exclusively. So, like, this is something you can get to be aggressive with part of your army, and then Ogre Gluttons can come in the back. So, just keep that in mind. So they can run and charge in the same turn.
So
if they're wholly within 12 inches.
Really help you if you're in the middle of the battlefield, but if you're coming up on one of the flanks, it's nice. You get that run and charge.
I dig it. And then the other one is add 1 to prayer rolls for Keening Gale when a priest tries to canto. Let's check out Keening Gale.
Oh, okay. So this is very similar to the last one where it affected Pulverizing Hailstorm. Yeah. This one is Keening Gale.
It is on a 4-up. Pick 1 friendly Mournfang pack or monster or Mournfang pack. That's interesting. Within 18 inches and add 3 to its movement characteristics. So they even get even faster with a run and charge. Right. So there's that.
And Peter is asking if Iron Guts. They're 3 and 3 now, and I will see if they have a rend. Let me double check.
Okay. Yeah, we're working our way through the book. So if you have unit scroll stuff, we'll get there. But you go ahead and enter that one. The command ability of the Thunderbellies is uses command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, pick 1 enemy unit with 1 or more wounds allocated to it. That's within 6 inches of a Thunderhead hero. That's a lot of qualifications. Until the end of the phase, you can reroll wound rolls for attacks made by friendly Mournfang pack units that target the same unit. Not my favorite. So you have to have a hero in combat with someone who's hurt, and then this other unit, the Mournfang pack, get better at hurting him.
Yeah, that's a
Rube Goldberg machine of death right there.
All right. So we're gonna get to the command traits. We got Storm Chaser. Add 1 to charge rolls for friendly Thunderbelly units while they're wholly within 18 of the general. It's not bad. Because they definitely nerfed the Mournfang. They used to roll 3d6 when they charge. It's just 2d6 now. And so getting stuff in there is always good. And so you can get that run and charge if they're within 12 of the table edge. and they get +1 to their charge if they're wholly within 18 of the general.
Yep, and I mean, if that general is one of the priest guys, he can try it on a 3-up to give him the extra 3 inches. It can be very fast. I can just really get across the table. All right.
And we got the artifact of power. It's the Shatterstone. Enemy units treat terrain features within 12 of this bearer as having the deadly scenery terrain. In addition, any scenery terrain they may have.
That's awesome.
To any of the rules that they may have. I'm not a huge fan of this because that only goes off on a 1. And then it's D3 mortal wounds.
But I like that it's this passive thing. I mean, I guess it depends. So like tournament terrain, I find doesn't have a lot of hills and stuff like we use with your battle reports. So it's not quite as fun because people aren't usually on them. But yeah I don't know.
It's not my favorite artifact of power, and you have to take it.
Yeah,
but I do really like the running charge within 12 of table edge. That's then the command ability where you have to the sun has to align and it has to be on a Thursday.
The sun has to align. One thing I do like about this though is I would suggest taking either where is it? Well, really any of the battalions. Almost all of them use actually the Yorbad and the Earlbad are the ones that use Mournfang Cav. So I think if you're going to be taking them, build that battalion as a flanking force, and that way you get an extra artifact. Like I think that's important. But I don't know, yeah.
Okay. Let's go over to the Winterbite Mawtribe.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Ghost. I'm sorry. Actually, I want to point this out. So if you take the Eurobad, at the start of your hero phase in the first battle round, each friendly unit from this battalion can make a move of d6 inches. Roll separately. So that will stack with all this movement bonuses. So anyway. Winterbite Mawtribe. Ghosts in the Blizzard. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with missile weapons that target friendly Winterbite units that are wholly within your territory. So it's defensive on your side of the table. And then add 1 to prayer rolls for Call of the Blizzard when a Winterbite priest is chanting a prayer. So let me double check what that one is. Call the Blizzards. If it's answered, pick 1 friendly unit of Icefall Yetis within 18 inches of that model. You can return 1 slain model to that unit.
Okay.
So, and then the
Yeti builds in this.
Yeah, this is your Yeti book. That's that whatever your buddy is who has 30 of them. Command ability, Howl of the Wild. You can use this command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, pick 1 friendly Winterbite hero, friendly Winterbite Frost Sabers units, and Icefall Yetis wholly within 12 inches of that hero can fight at the start of the combat phase. These units cannot fight again unless there's a spell or ability that allows them to fight more than once. So you get to jump the line, basically.
Yeah, it's good, but again, with a lot of your Yetis, you're doing the pile-in trick because they have that 6-inch stuff. So you can always retreat in your hero phase, but this is good for their turn. And the Saber Cats aren't that impressive.
Yeah.
So you can make them fight first, but they Yeah. All right, we'll go over the command trait. We have Winter Touch. Add 1 to rune rolls for attacks made by melee weapons, friendly Winterbite Frost Sabers. Hey, so it makes that unit I just said is okay better. It's better. That are wholly within 12 of the general. Yes, definitely. If you're going a hunter general, a bunch of Yetis, and a bunch of cats, this is the one you're taking. And let's check out their artifact of power, Frostfang. Oh, that's old school from the old world. Weapon. Pick 1 of the bearer's melee weapons at the start of each battle round. Roll the dice. On a 5+, add 1 to the damage inflicted by attacks made with that weapon for the rest of the battle. Oh, and the effect is it's a hard word for me to say.
Cumulative.
Cumulative.
You know, just to make you feel better, Jess and I were talking about words that we could never spell, and for me, it's guarantee. Again, this doesn't have to be on. I mean, I would say if you do make a Yeti build, you can still have like a Frost Lord on Thunder Tusk and throw this on there, and all of a sudden he's killing. That's my favorite item you have to take out of the Beastclaw Raiders focused tribes. Yeah. I kind of skipped ahead to the battalions. A lot of these bonuses, they're not massive, but they're very cool. One
thing I'm noticing about these battalions is it includes a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you notice in the most recent books, like especially the Cities of Sigmar one, more than likely you're not going to get the choice to see who gets to go first with Cities of Sigmar, because there's just a lot of models and a lot of stuff that's not going to be in those battalions. Whereas this one, you're probably going to have a low drops. For instance, look at the Gormad. You get a Slaughtermaster, 1 to 3 units of Gluttons, 1 to 3 units of Lead Belchers, and a unit of Iron Guts.
Yep.
That's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. I like my pick for this one was the Tyrant Gut Guard. So it's your Tyrant, your hero, which we already went through how you can really, really build him to be a melee beast. He's just a one-man wrecking crew. He can be. And the ability for this is it's 0 to 2 Iron Blasters, 1 to 3 unit of Iron Guts, which is more of the elite guard, and they can tank wounds for him. And so you take this guy who's already nasty in combat, and you just give him a way to. It's like a delivery system. I like that one quite a bit.
I like it. I do like that one. And you have fun ones like the Junk Mob.
Yeah.
It's 1 to 2 units of Noblars and 1 to 2 Scrap Launchers. Add 1 to the attack characteristics of pile of old scrap used by the Noblar Scrap Launchers from this battalion, while they're within 3 inches of any Noblar units from this battalion that has 20 or more models. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen.
Yeah.
It is, there's some useful ones and there's some flavorful ones.
So the minimum you can make that battalion for, I believe, if I'm doing my math right, is 320 points. That's 1 unit of Noblars, minimum size, the scrap launcher, and the battalion cost. And that gets you an artifact and a command point. I don't know. It's not. I mean, it's a cheap thing to lower your drops if that's something you want to do, especially if you use them as a screen. So.
Never mind. We'd have to go to the Beastclaw Raiders section. I wish, again, there's definitely segregation here. There's Gutbuster stuff.
Yeah.
And there's Beastclaw Raider stuff.
I do agree. I wish there was there was more battalions to combine them. 100%. Basically with the Beastclaw Raiders, things are broken up to, there's 2 different waves of the army that kind of use the same models, frankly. Where you have your kind of Frost Lords and your Mournfang, that kind of stuff. And then one where it's focused. It has Yetis in there, the Torbat, and then the Skull is your Hunter and a bunch of Sabers. So, Try Baby asks, so you can use the older Beastclaw models, benefit from other subfaction rules. Yes. So it's not like War Clans where they have, Iron Jaws and then Bone Splitters and then the Big Wall has 3 different armies with different choices. This is all now one thing. So if you say, I'm playing Mawtribes, you can take a subfaction, combine units from both what used to be Gutbusters and Beastclaw Raiders, and everything gets the bonuses for everything. So yeah. Let's see. So unit war scrolls. I want to pick on the Tyrant because the Tyrant is my favorite. If I was going to ever play this army, I would have everything built around getting this guy into melee and just killing everything. Just because that's how I play, and that's why I lose.
One thing that worries me about the Tyrant is, we went over all the defensive stuff for shooting. Mm-hmm. This has a 4-up save.
Yeah.
So that is, 8 wounds, 4-up save. That's if I'm going against a Tyrant, I'm licking my chops. And I'm like, well, I'll just shoot him.
Yep.
Kill him.
You can kill him. I mean, the best save in this army is anything on a Thunder Tusk gets a 3-up.
Yeah. Yes. Thunder Tusk is 3-up, but there's
that's just the Frost Lord. I'm sorry.
Yeah, your characters, they're 5 butchers and stuff like that is 5-up. Not the best save in this game. The Gluttons are 5-up. Mm-hmm. The Iron Guts are 4-up. Whatever.
Trash says, do you think that my friends should pick up this, meaning the Feast of Bones set, instead of the Start Collecting boxes? They're not a bad start.
It's good. It's pricey. It is pricey.
Yeah, and it leans value-wise in favor of the Bonereapers. Yeah. So just kind of, it doesn't have to be 50-50 split. Just kind of keep that in mind. But I would say that, I like the idea of the Ogre half of Feast of Bones plus a Start Collecting Beastclaw Raider. That sounds cool to me. But
I always say, this hobby is expensive, man. So you gotta get over it. It's a very expensive hobby.
Oakshan says it's pretty sure it's sold out already. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, online. I'm sure, like at game stores, you can go pick it up.
What?
Order it.
That is redonk. Oh, it's not sold out for me. Okay, cool. Anyway, so yeah, I like the Tyrant. Basically, the Glaive is, I think, the new model, because the Thunder Mace is the old sculpt, I believe. 3 inches, 2 attacks, 3 to hit, 3 to wound, -1, D3 damage. But again, we have all those things that stack it up. And at the start of each game, you get a random big name. So basically, it's just a buff. And some of them are pretty cool. Has extra wound. It's like, think of it as like an extra command trait, but you don't know what you're gonna get. It's kind of what it is. So let's see. I do like they didn't change his command ability, which I like, which is use this command ability in hero phase. If you do so, pick one friendly Gutbusters unit within 3 inches. It takes D3 mortal wounds, but you do not have to take battle shock tests for it. Maybe they did change it, because I don't remember it saying Gutbusters.
I think that was I think that's the same.
Is it?
Yes.
Where's the... Looking for the stupid little Noblars. Oh yeah, they have it. Yeah, so you take a big block of your 30 Noblars, whatever they are. How big can they get? They take 1 wound and there's no battle shock, which is just awesome. That's what my buddy did to me.
And Gluttons don't have the best bravery when they're out of combat.
Yeah, that's true.
That might not be a bad idea if you have a big unit of Gluttons.
Yep.
It's like, I'm going to potentially kill one. No, you're not going to even kill one because they have 4 wounds each.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't even kill one off. Or just like, all right, you guys are, I don't have to worry about battle shock, and I don't have to worry about ever having to use, saving a command point for inspiring presence or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, you're fine for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, your Noblars can go to units of 60. Just imagine a 60 battle shock immune, just blob. I love it.
So they're like, and these Warscrolls are live on the app.
Yeah.
So like, if anybody wants to go check them out.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point. We'll skip past those.
It changes as far as like the skeleton, the stone skeleton, and the ice blast of frost, frost wraith ice. Wreath ice. Those are the biggest changes, as far as like, wow, because you no longer now it's just a 5-up, wound and mortal wound save on a Stonehorn, which is still really good.
Yeah.
The blast of frost, it's the dirty snowball, people call it.
Yep.
So instead of on 2-up, you take 6 mortal wounds. It's pick 1 enemy unit within 18 of this model, invisible to them. Roll a number of dice shown on the damage table above, and then you look at that damage table. If you're at max, is 12. And you add 1 to the roll for each unit that has 10 or more models. So, for instance, let's say we're shooting at a unit of 10 Ardboys.
Yep.
You're going to roll 13 dice. And for every 6, they suffer a mortal wound.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about that, it's not that many. It went from being a hero sniping thing to it's okay at putting a little bit of damage on a horde unit.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's big.
Yeah.
And it gets worse. And so as far as like, but you got to balance that out with, hey, now I get, special prayers and things like that. But it's definitely worse. But I think the army as a whole is better.
Agreed. Yeah, and if not, and it's better in terms of model opportunity, like the unit choices. I mean, yeah. And then also
you got to balance it out.
Yeah.
This guy can do a 6. It can't do that mortal wound thing anymore. But hey, it is worth 10 points on an objective, or worth 10 bodies.
Totally. So yeah, I think they kind of went down in terms of value with gimmicks, because that's a one-trick pony, right? And people who knew how to play against it knew how to play against it. But I think they went up in terms of everything just playing better in the game. So I don't know.
And one thing that did get better is the Blood Vulture. Blood Vulture used to be like, you pick a guy, I pick a guy.
Oh, yeah, that stupid little mini game.
Yeah. But now it's just on a 2+, that guy suffers a mortal wound.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, hey, if you have 4 of those, it's like a mini dirty snowball.
kind of going to the back here, you do have the pitch battle profile I pulled up. I don't comment too much on points just because I have to see it in practice before I really understand. For example, like Ogre Gluttons are 120 for 3. You could compare those to Brutes with War Clans. The problem is that those 3 are worth 6 dudes on an objective versus Brutes is 5, that kind of thing. So all that stuff has to be seen in practice. But what I can tell you is that there's a lot of ways to make stuff battle line.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of battle line if, and it's usually dependent on your general. I think it's all.
Yep.
It's all. Choosing your general is going to unlock quite a few options for you. And what's cool is that just because you have a general of, say for example, you take a Beastclaw Raider general and you can unlock the Mornfang pack as battle line. Awesome, but that doesn't mean that you have to take them. It just Ogre Gluttons are still battle line. That's awesome. So I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, I think Ogre Gluttons and what else is just battle line always? Is it just the Gluttons? And I think it is.
Yes, the Gluttons are the only battle line only. Like battle line permanent.
And Noblars aren't battle line at all.
Nope.
Interesting.
I'm okay with that because that could get really obnoxious if you're moving 3 units of 60 dudes.
I'm just assuming but you can really mess up assuming with Age of Sigmar. But I'm assuming that the Behemoths lose the the Stonehorn, Beast Riders, and Thundertusk lose their Behemoth keyword if they become battle line.
That's my operating assumption. I don't know why they don't clarify that. Let's see. Yeah, no, I don't see anything. But it always gets asked in FAQs, and they've done it for cities with Charybdises and junk like that, and then Flesh Eater Courts, obviously. So, yeah, I don't know. You want to... So what we'll do, while we're getting our next battle tomes out, the Ossiarch Bonereapers, last call, any questions about this book that you want our opinions on?
Have a question about the shot we were just talking about.
The shot, okay.
Doesn't it mean roll 12 dice and add 1 to the results for each dice, meaning it would be a 5 instead of a 6? Ooh, that would be better. They're killing hordes. Might have read that wrong. Let's see. Instead of adding 1 dice, add 1 to the dice roll. Where are we at? Here we go. Thundertusk. Add 1 to each roll. Yes, you're right. Add 1 to each roll if the target is a 10. So 10 or more. That is great. So if you're shooting at a 20 or more, for each 4-up, it'd be a mortal wound, which is better. So you're 12 dice, you're getting 6 mortal wounds, which would go back to where it used to be. So thank you. Pointed that out. Yeah, so you're adding 1 to the dice roll, not 1 dice.
Gotcha. So that kind of makes it like a snowball version of Fireball, where it gets better the bigger the unit.
Yeah, and if it's a really big unit, you're definitely doing more and more. So it's a horde killing thing instead of a hero sniping thing, which great. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. What else was I going to say? As far as overall thoughts, people have been asking, is it tasty? Is it scrumptious? I like the book. I think you've already touched on it in the beginning, where I think it's going to be sitting in that nice fat middle. I think if you're not prepared to deal with a ton of wounds, you're going to be disappointed when you play against them. But I think for anyone who plays these armies, it's low model count. They can now play an objectives game. I think there's cool builds here. My pick is the one that lets your Mornfang pack run and charge if they're within 12 inches of the battle edge. Because then you have that, just plunge, then plus a bunch of basic ogre dudes going up the center for objectives would be awesome. I don't think it's like top tier competitive, but that's also not what I play. So I'm excited to see it on the table more.
I think this is better than it was, which that's all you can ask for. Some people want it to be the best, but I don't want everything to be the best.
No, it's not. It's not fun if everything's the best when it comes out.
There's some people who are disappointed, but it's like it's an improvement.
Yep. And so, with that being said, we're going to transition into the Ossiarch Bonereapers, an army that had no interest to me until about 4 days ago when they showed off the red paint scheme, and I was like, sold.
I didn't care about this one way. I'm not a huge I've never been interested in playing death, but these guys, especially when I saw the catapult, I'm like, oh, I have to play this. I want to play it.
Yep.
And how good, like they have stuff that like on a 4-up you don't get a command point. That would screw me over so royally. My
yes,
gosh.
yes.
I want to play these guys now.
So, Ossiarch Bonereapers, if you're living under a rock, brand new death army. What's interesting, I want to mention a few things right off the top, is that they cannot ally with anybody. No allies whatsoever, which I thought was super interesting. They are fairly elite, and my thesis statement right at the top is the point of this army is you're going to be balancing heroes to get their, what do they call it? They call it Relentless Discipline points. They don't use command points. So you're going to be balancing heroes to get those consistently, but heroes are pricey and so are your units, and so you're consistently balancing between consistent points and number of units. So that's the thing, the balancing factor, I would say. So I'm going to jump into Allegiance abilities. Do you want to split these up, or you just want me to go hog wild?
Yeah, we can split them up again.
Okay. I will take a few, and I'll just stop whenever I want to. Lords of the Ossiarch Empire. So they can include Nagash and Arcan. Their war scrolls are in here. And I want to check something out that somebody just said to me beforehand. Somebody said to me they changed Nagash in this one where he cannot know.
Whoa.
What are you watching over there, man?
Oh my gosh. What was that?
You cannot use all of the death spells that everyone knows. Let me just double check here. And I'm so sorry about that. I didn't read that ahead of time. Someone just corrected me. Oh yeah. Yeah, it does limit him. So he does not any longer know every death wizard spell, to my understanding. Let's see. If you're the best, you don't need allies. Well, I think it's because they've made such a balancing game between heroes and units that I don't think there's any room in the equation for anything else. So yeah, Nagash and Arcan are in faction. They gain the Ossiarch Bonereapers keyword, and that's pretty sweet. You can give it, obviously, they call them Bonereaper Allegiance. It's their Stormhost equivalent. You can give them those things. They have Deathless Warriors, and so the wording of this is super important, where roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to a friendly unit that has the Hekatos keyword or is wholly within 6 inches of a friendly Mortec Hekatos. Now, that's not a keyword. That is just a model called a Mortec Hekatos, or is within 12 inches of a hero, or wholly within 12 inches of a hero. On a 6, the wound is negated. Now, the reason I point that out is that same verbiage is used a lot, where it's Hekatos, the specific model called a Mortec Hekatos, or a Ossiarch Bonereaper hero. So we're going to see that again and again. And so, do you mind if I cover the Relentless Discipline points thing?
Go for it.
Okay. So first of all, in the same rule, it is don't take battle shock test, which is awesome. Just don't take battle shock test, period. Let's see. In addition, if your army is an Ossiarch Bonereapers army, you cannot use command points. Instead, you use Relentless Discipline points. At the start of each battle round, before determining who has first turn, you receive 1 Relentless Discipline point. I'm just going to call it Discipline point because it's shorter. 1 Discipline point for each Ossiarch Bonereapers hero is on the table. Again, so you want heroes. You receive 1 additional Relentless Discipline point for each Warscroll battalion in your army, so you want battalions, and each friendly liege that is on your battlefield. That's like basically your general level dudes, big guys. And an additional 3 Relentless points if the Mortarch is on the table, so he gives you a big bunch of them. Then roll a dice for each Ossiarch Bonereapers unit that's on the battlefield. For each 6, you receive an additional 1. So before every round starts, you rack up your resources for that turn. Discipline points are used in the same manner as command points, but can only be used for command abilities that appear on a war scroll that has the Ossiarch Bonereapers keyword. On the War Scrolls and these ones down below, which are part of their faction thing.
Something you got to get used to. You got to need some practice games.
It's going to be awkward, yeah.
Need this and this and this and this and this and this.
Yep.
Similar to, obviously, played against the big wall the other day, and there's stuff you have to remember. Okay, my guys are in combat, I get some. And similar also to the Contagion stuff for Nurgle.
Yeah.
Okay, there's nobody in my base, so I get this.
Exactly, yeah, it's the same thing. The thing is that these points don't roll over like command points do. They expire the minute you go to see the next round, like what you have. So every turn you have a different pool of resources available. Also, they are used as command points, but only for command abilities that appear on War Scrolls and these two abilities down below, which I'll let you take over. But that means you can't use Inspiring Presence, you can't make your runs auto 6s, and you cannot reroll charges.
Interesting. And you can't like give yourself plus reroll ones to hit.
Yes.
Reroll ones to hit and shooting. Yep. Reroll ones to save. Can't do any of that.
So
let's check out what you can do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, one also note: you and I play narrative missions sometimes on rerolling ones, and a lot of those scenarios have special command abilities. You can't use those either.
Ooh, yeah, you can't use realm command abilities.
Exactly. So anyway, I'll let you go to what we can do. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
Ooh, that's nice. I mean, that's different. You gotta. Okay, so there's stuff you don't need to remember, but there's stuff that you do need to remember.
Yes.
So you can forget all the stuff you know and learn this stuff. Interesting. Okay, so here are some of the command abilities you can use. Unstoppable Advance. You can use this command ability in your movement phase. If you do so, pick one friendly unit that has the Hekatos keyword or is wholly within 6 inches of a friendly Mortec Hekatos, or is wholly within 12 of a Bonereaper hero. Add 3 to that unit's movement characteristics in that phase. It can still run or charge if it does not run. You cannot pick the same unit to benefit from this command ability more than once per phase. Okay, plus 3 to your movement. That's nice. And you can still run and charge. Not run and charge, run or charge.
Yep.
I like that. And that is the only...
I'm sorry. I thought the designer... I misread the designer's note. I thought it was the thing that you could read. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do the whole page.
You look like a fool.
I'm so sorry. So that's super interesting. Yeah. So the one universal that everyone can do is plus 3 movement. That's interesting. Okay.
I'll give my opinion. Like as a viewing it, I viewed it a little bit last night.
Yeah.
I have to say, out of the Feast of Bone, Ogre Mawtribes is good. These guys seem really good.
Yeah, they seem very.
They're going to be for top tables, I think, so far. But
I think so. Vince on Warhammer Weekly, he predicted, and I think accurately, like this is going to be an army where it's harder to learn, but it has a higher roof. Like once you get good at it, I think it's going to be really stinking good.
Like it's hard to play, but once you learn how to pilot it,
yeah.
And oh my gosh, Vince predicted something. That's good.
No. Usually it's Tom. I think Vince is winning their prediction game they had going on. So before we jump into anything else, one thing I want to point out is the reason I made an emphasis to point out that it's Hekatos keyword, Mortec Hekatos the model, and then Ossiarch Bonereaper heroes. Your basic infantry and cavalry have a unit, sort of like an attachment. One model in the unit can be the Mortec Hekatos. So he acts like a lieutenant in your units. So even if all your heroes die from a shoot-cast army that your best friend wields way too much and it hurts your feelings, you can still give out command abilities because your individual units for infantry have the ability to do so. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. And I think that's going to be one of the weird things for this army to learn. So let's move on. We can check out, let's do command traits. Pick your favorite one, and I'll pick one as well.
Okay. Immortal Ruler. Deathless Warrior's battle trait negates a wound or mortal wound allocated by the general on a 5 instead of a 6.
Yep.
Oh, no. Okay, never mind. I thought that was Aura. That's just to him. No, I wouldn't pick that one. Add 1 to hit for attacks made with his melee weapon if the general and their mount, unless the target is death. Nope. I wouldn't pick that either. That would go good with if you had a Sword of Judgment, because that's when it'd make it a 5 instead of a 6.
Yeah, totally. My pick was the Ancient Knowledge. It's just you receive one additional Relentless Discipline point at the start of the battle round if the general's in the battlefield. I think the consistency of those points versus hoping for 6s for each unit is probably where I would lean to.
Okay.
So you have Liege Kavalos is your dude that's on the not dead Dracoth. It looks like the exact same thing. Mortisans are, I believe, your wizards, and Bone Shapers are kind of like another tier of hero. So, anything stand out to you as far as the Mortisan qualities?
Yeah. This is like a weird one because I haven't looked at all the units.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine. If you want, I can
they're
dig over this part. That's no problem. I don't want to put you on the spot if you hadn't had a chance to digest it. The first two are the exact same, so you can also, if you have a Mortisan as your hero, take a Relentless Discipline point.
This is a good one. So there are a couple things like this in the army. Roll a dice each time your opponent receives a command point while the general is in the battlefield. On a 6, it's lost. That can be crippling. Like, some people don't care.
Exactly.
Builds or definitely Gloomspite get builds. Yeah. Okay, you took one of my 5 command points.
I know. Yeah, take 2. They're small.
But they're like Stormcast, or there's same things. They're command point thirsty, and if you're snatching them away,
yep,
it's crippling their army.
And that one stands out, and also knowing an extra spell from the lore, because they have some cool spells in here. That's probably those 3, right? The command point one, the spell, and the additional Relentless Discipline point. Pretty much the only ones that stand out here. The other ones has to do with bravery in an army that doesn't care about bravery. Like, it debuffs your opponent. So, Artifacts of Power for the Liege Kavalos.
I gotta take the Mind Blade. That's amazing.
Mind Blade. Go ahead and read it off.
It is so this is for the Liege Kavalos, the guy on the Undead Dracoth. Pick one of the bear's melee weapons. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with that weapon that targets a hero is a 6, your opponent loses 1 command point. Going back to what I said about command points.
Yeah.
But here it is. And the hero can't use command abilities for the rest of the battle.
So if I were to poke your Lord
Aquilor.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't teleport out.
Right.
Because I couldn't use command abilities. So I'd be stuck there, not being able to teleport my long strikes away from you, or not being able to have them shoot my hero phase. So again, not everything is stop shoot cast, but I hate that thing.
Sweet. One that stood out to me, I just had it and looked up at the chat. Dang it. Oh, yeah. Helm of the Ordained. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers units and their mounts, which is an important one, while they are wholly within 12 inches of the bearer. So this is actually a really good one if you want to take a cav-heavy list, because there's not many things that... Well, I guess stuff could say cavalry, but this buffs everything, which is nice. I like that they pointed out the cavalry. Mm-hmm. Let's see... there are some cool stuff for the Mortisan Bone Shaper, which is their Artifacts of Power. We'll get to some of their buffs that they have, but actually, I actually want to cover this one. So what is this? The Bear's Bone Shaper ability. Where is he at? Soul Mason. Throne. Nope. Bone Shaper. Here we go. So I skipped overhead to a small hero that's a spellcaster. It says, in your hero phase, you can pick 1 friendly Bonereaper unit within 6 inches model. You can heal 3 wounds or restore a number of models that equal a wound characteristic of 3 or less. You can regenerate people. There's an artifact that on a 4-up, each turn lets you do that on 2 units or to 1 unit twice. So if you're going like grindy infantry heavy, that could be a really cool thing. Yeah, that's pretty much the only one that stands out there. The other one is your not deathless minions is on a 5-up instead of a 6 for a unit. But the spellcaster has to be within 1 inch of them, which is just, you gotta be up the butt. So, okay, that's it for me on that one.
Okay.
Treasures of the Soul Masons. Soul Reservoir is funny. It sounds like something an orc would have, where it's add 2 to the casting rolls for the bear. However, if the casting roll for the bear is an unmodified 10 or higher, this artifact cannot be used again for the rest of the battle.
That's good, especially if you have like some endless spell.
Yeah.
That you need to cast or something. Like, I need to cast this, and just hopefully you don't roll a 10 or higher.
No, you want to be good, but not too good. Yeah.
It's not modified, so it's like you're only getting this 10, 11, and 12.
Yep.
So there's only 3 chances that it's going to go away.
Yep.
I really like that one.
Let's see. And the thing is there's no penalty. It doesn't hurt you. You just don't get a bonus anymore. So just get your important stuff out of the way first. That's kind of the only one there. Weapons of the Soul Reaper. This is the wizard bro that let me turn off. Sorry, forgot to turn off my Facebook chat there. And nothing truly stands out there. He's more of like a melee wizard than anything else. He's kind of cool. We'll get to him. So, onto the spell lores. I think if you want like the hyper details on those things, go watch Gorilla Miniature Gaming. But we're gonna breeze through the ones that are just like, meh. Spell lore. So, Arcane Command is casting value 5, so very low. If you cast it, you get D3 Relentless Discipline points. Always.
Yeah, I like it.
Somebody always has to have that. Why not? The one that interests me beyond that is casting value 5 for Empower Nadurite weapons. So basically, this is, I think, generally your basic dude's weapon. Maybe the cavalry has it too. But whenever they have a hit roll of a 6, it causes 2 hits to be scored.
I like Drain Vitality. It's a nice debuff. Goes off on a 6. Pick in if you have that the +2 to cast. Hopefully it's only going off on a 4. But reroll, the unit has to reroll unmodified hit rolls of 6, so they're rerolling 6s to hit, and they're rerolling 6s for their save.
I like that one. That's a very Slaanesh specific spell because you have crappy saves and everything goes off on 6s.
Yeah.
I did mess up on the Empower Nadurite weapon, so they already do have exploding 6s with 2 hits, but this changes it to where it's a 5 instead of a 6. Like on a 5-up, it goes off on 2 hits. That's cool.
And the Drain Vitality also works on shooting attacks, not just melee.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Check out the Bone Host.
Oh, actually, there's one more thing. Mortal Contract, casting value 7. Pick an enemy unit within 18 inches of the caster. For the rest of the battle, roll a dice at the end of each phase during which any attacks made by that unit inflicted damage on Bonereaper units. On a 3-up, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. So any single time, the rest of the game, there is no end period. Anytime they do anything to hurt you, they take damage. Possibly. That's all. So yeah, we're into the sub-factions here.
All right, we'll switch it up. I'll go first this time, and you take the commanders.
Sounds like a plan.
This is Mortis Praetorians. For the ability, this is just, everybody gets this. Subtract 1 from bravery characteristics of enemy units while they're within 12 inches of any friendly Mortis Praetorian unit. All right, so everybody's like Night Haunt, but it is within 12. And it's any, so it doesn't stack. Command ability, Counter-Strike. Great game. Used to play it. You can use this command ability at the end of the enemy charge phase. If you do so, pick one friendly Mortis Praetorian unit that either has the Hekatos keyword or is wholly within 6 inches of a friendly Mortec Hekatos, or wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Mortis Praetorian hero. Until the end of your turn, you can reroll hit rolls for attacks made by that unit that target any enemy unit that made a charge move in the same turn. Okay, break that down. If they charged you, you get to reroll to hit them.
Yes, that's
reroll all hits. So if you have something that's fishing for something, you can do that.
And I think again that's another one where your opponent makes all their charges and now they have to choose where to go first. You use at the end of their charge phase, so you can kind of incentivize them to try and go somewhere, hit this unit first before they get to hit you, kind of thing.
Have you seen let you make somebody attack last, or you attack first yet?
No, but I didn't see anything like that in the artifacts or anything like that.
Okay.
The command trait is Katakros. This is the Mortar guy chosen once per battle. At the start of hero phase, if this general's on the battlefield, you can receive D3 additional Relentless Discipline points. And so the only reason that matters is because they don't recycle. Like, they don't carry over turn to turn, so you have to wait for a turn. You know you're going to want those D3 extra ones. And then the artifact is pick one of the bear's melee weapons, change the rend to -3. So, I mean, it's fine. Those things are fine. I like that the command trait expire. It doesn't expire after a turn, but the command points go away.
Yeah. It's one per battle thing.
Yeah.
Command trait per battle? That's rough.
Yeah. So let's go on to Petrifex Elite.
Okay.
These are the ones that I'm doing. The blackened bone with the red.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like these guys. So, Petrifex Elite, we got Unstoppable Juggernaut. I'm the Juggernaut. Okay. Add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target Petrifex Elite. There we go. +1 to save for the whole army.
Yes, just straight up.
Oh, my goodness. This is close. We'll go next. We don't need anything else besides that. Command ability, Bludgeon. You can use the command ability in the combat phase. Okay, it doesn't say at the start. It just says in the combat phase, which is big. If you do so, pick one friendly Petrifex Elite unit. Okay, it's going to do the Hekatos and the Mortec, like we've been saying, but replace whatever with Petrifex Elite. In the combat phase, improve the range characteristics of a melee weapon used by that unit by 1. You cannot pick the same. Okay, can't stack. But this is great because it's not at the start. You can say, okay, these guys got hit, but hey, they didn't die. I'm going to give them +1 range when they attack back.
Yes. And so I'm looking up here. What is it? Petrifex Elite. Yeah, so I just pick a unit and give them +1 to rend. I like it. I have better saves and I take away your better save. Command trait for your general is you have add 2 to the wounds characteristic, which most of the generals here, they're not super beefy. That's not there are worse ones in the game. They kind of have, like, with the exception of Arcan and Nagash, kind of operate a lot like Nighthaunt. You know, just 7 to 8 wound kind of things. Just living, laughing, loving. Yeah. And then Artifact of Power is the first wound allocated to the bearer in each phase is negated.
I love it. That's nice. Every phase.
So you get +1 to your save for your hero, assuming they're not a named guy, because named guys were somewhere else. And then extra wounds in the first one goes away. I like it.
Okay. Now let's go to the next one. We got the Stalliarch Lords.
Yep.
Stalliarch Lords unit for the whole army. The whole army can run and charge. Let's ban them. Ban Ossiarch Bonereapers. Let's start that hashtag. Ban these guys. Let's just ban anything that we don't like.
Exactly.
Okay, run and charge. That's good. Whole army can run and charge. You can for the command ability, Rally Back. You can use this command ability in your movement phase. If you do so, pick one Stalliarch Lord. Okay, we're going through the whole thing. You know, Hekatos, Tech, all that stuff again. The unit can retreat in the phase and still charge. That's great. Retreat and charge. I like this. This is. I still love the Petrifex Elite, but this is a close second so far. Go on to command trait.
Yeah. No, I think if you're doing a cavalry thing, this is just all the movement. Shouldn't you know?
Yeah. I think that's why their symbol is like horse heads.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Command trait is Twisted Challenge. At the start of the combat phase, pick one enemy hero within 3 inches of this general. Till the end of that phase, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this general that target that hero, but subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by the general that target any other unit. So you gotta go for the hero. You don't technically gotta, but you get really, really good at fighting heroes, but you get crappy at fighting everything else. So it kind of pushes you towards that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't like making myself worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's a flavorful thing, right? It's to get your heroes to punch each other in the face kind of thing. I dig it. I mean, but I also don't want my general of my hit and run cavalry army to be toe to toe probably with their general. And then the artifact power is Nadir Bound Mount. We can roll D3 additional dice when this liege uses their unstoppable charge ability.
Which one is that?
Liege. Unstoppable charge. Here we go. It's the mounted hero. After this model makes a charge move, you can pick one enemy unit within 1 inch of this model and roll a number of dice equal to the charge roll for that charge move. For each 6, that enemy suffers 1 mortal wound. It's basically the ogre thing. In addition, this model can move an extra 3 inches when it piles in if it made a charge move in the same turn.
Okay.
So yeah, you hit your charge roll plus D3 dice. Fish for 6s.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Ivory Host. Simmering Rage. At the start of the combat phase, each friendly Ivory Host unit within 6 inches of a friendly Ivory Host model that currently has any wounds allocated to it becomes subject to Rage. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by a unit that is subject to Rage. But subtract 1 from save rolls for attack. I don't like this. Okay, you get -1 to I'm not gonna
You stop mid-sentence.
1 from save rolls for attacks that target the unit that is subject to Rage. All right, the rest of the stuff better be amazing for me to pick this one. All right, so again, what did you call that thing? Something rubric?
The Rube Goldberg machine? Yeah.
Goldberg. Okay, at the start of the combat phase, I'm reading it again. Each friendly Ivory Host unit within 6 inches of a Ivory Host model that currently has any wounds allocated to it becomes subject to Rage. So you get really mad if your guys are hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not an option. This just happens. So if so this seems like it'd be very vulnerable to shooting. So I shoot you, I hurt your guy, and now this other unit, I'm going to shoot him, and he's -1 to his save.
Well, it's at the start of the combat phase, so
you
would shoot him, hurt him, and then when you go to combat him, then you would have in melee, then you would have a worse save.
And so do you only have -1s to your save in the combat phase? Because that'd be better.
I think so. At the start of your combat phase, that's when you assess who's angry or not.
Oh, okay. I jumped to conclusions. It's not that bad, again, but say if you're like attacking last, you're still gonna have -1 to your save.
No, totally. Yeah,
Okay. Command ability, Temper Fury. You can use command ability in the combat phase. If you do so, pick 1 friendly Ivory Host. All right, all the same stuff. Got the Mortec Hekatos and 12 inches and whatnot. In that phase, do not subtract 1 from the save rolls for attacks that target the unit because of the Rage, but still add 1 to hit rolls. So
that's the dumbest.
It costs you some of your command stuff.
Yeah. So you get a pro and a con, a big pro and a big con. Well, I'm not even that big of a pro, whatever. And then you have to spend a command point to ignore the negative modifier.
In order to fix this flaw in your army, it's going to cost you.
Yeah. I mean,
is the army hitting on 4s? Do you really need that +1?
No, it's mostly 3s. Most of their infantry is 3s.
Yeah, and you're not even going to be able to get to reroll 1s to hit because you don't get to use those command abilities. Okay, all right. So far, this is a little to me, but hey, maybe the command trait. On the macro. Let's see. What does it do?
Command trait. And each of your hero phases roll a dice for this general. On a 5-up, add 1 to the tax characteristic of the melee weapons used by this general for the rest of the battle.
Okay. I think we saw something like this in the Ogre Mawtribes.
Yeah, we did. Yep. Okay. And then the artifact of power. Pick 1 of the bearer's melee weapons. Add 1 to the tax characteristic of that weapon. So
maybe I'm missing something. I've been wrong about stuff before, where it's like, oh, I thought they sucked, but hey, who knows? I don't know.
Honestly, the big plus to this subfaction, I will say, is if you look at the paint scheme, they basically just primed it with Wraithbone and dunked it in Seraphim Sepia, and that's what it looks like. There's almost no coloring to it. It's just bone.
Oh, that's Mogwai Man. Is this good, Mogwai Man? Do you see something? Is there something about Ivory Host that I'm missing?
No, he was just chatting about Battle Shock being immune is too good, but yeah, they don't stand out to me.
The Null Myriad.
Okay.
All right, we're going for the abilities. Eldritch Nulls. Each time a friendly Null Myriad unit is affected by a spell or endless spell, you can roll the dice. You can roll the dice. That's big. If you do so on a 5-up, it is ignored.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. It's similar to Hollow Heart.
Yep. And it's
not
yeah.
the Hollow Knights,
Yes.
where you have that big you can is good. Okay, let's see what the command ability does. Hold Fast. You can use the command ability before you use the Eldritch Knolls ability for the unit that has either a Hekatos, again.
Yeah, all the Hekatos stuff, yep.
And is ignored on a 2-up instead of a 5. That's really good.
Holy crap.
So, you take that fireball. Oh, we got that spell off. We got handed dust off or whatever. Like, hold up, player. And then spin a command point and be like, oh, 2-up, nothing happened. I really like that. So far, this is my number 2.
Yeah, I dig it. The command trait to go with that is subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target the general. Okay, awesome. In addition, subtract 1 from the bravery characteristic of enemy models while they're within 3 inches of the general. So, okay, that's fine. It keeps them alive a little bit longer. Artifact of Power. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. Do not make save rolls for attacks made with weapons and wounds inflicted by that weapon cannot be negated. So it's a Drakfoot weapon. Do not make save rolls for attacks made with that weapon, and wounds inflicted by that weapon cannot be negated. Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's a great. So if you find a guy with a really good melee profile, I mean, the Commander's Blade from the Liege Cavalos is 3 attacks, 3 to hit, 3 to wound. You can't take a save, and it's 2 damage. You can't ignore it.
I think this one's my favorite now.
Okay.
Paint those up like these guys, Doug.
You want those on your shelf?
Yeah. We're going to the Crematorians.
Go for it.
Immolate. This is the ability. Roll a dice each time a friendly Crematorian model is slain by an attack made with a melee weapon. Before the slain model is removed from play, add 1 to the roll if the slain model is a hero monster. Okay. On a 5+, pick 1 enemy unit within 3 of the slain model, and it suffers a mortal wound. This is really good for like hordes that die. Mm-hmm. And this is good against things like Slanesh. Okay, I get to attack you before you get to attack me. Guess what? I'm doing wounds back to you, sir. That's pretty good. Okay, command ability. Levelers of Cities. You can use command ability in the combat phase. If you do so, pick 1 friendly. Okay, all that stuff again. Do not apply the cover modifier to save rolls made with melee weapons by the Crematorian units in that save. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you get to
use this command
cover. Now, question for you. It just says cover modifier. That does affect the Deepkin, right? Because they get cover around 1. Okay.
All cover modifiers.
Gotcha. Command trait. If
it's very, it's useful, but it's not. Not. Sometimes you're not even going to use it.
No, that's true. Wrathful Avenger is the command trait. If this general is slain, add 2 to the immolation dice roll instead of 1. And if the roll is successful, add D3 mortal wounds on the enemy instead of 1. That's, just make a Suicide Squad general and just go up there and die.
I want my general to live, though.
Huh?
I want my general to live.
Artifact of Power, pick one of the bearer's melee weapons, add 1 to the damage characteristic.
Okay, it's better than Ivory Host.
Yeah, that's the last one of them, too. If I had to rank them, I think, like you said, Null Myriad and the Petrifex Elite, the ones that I like with the defense bonus, and the ignore spells are definitely, I think, at the top.
I think there's definitely 2 great ones, 2 mid-tier ones, and 2 lower-tier ones.
Yep.
So they all have good-looking stuff.
Yep. I'm going to hop over to, excuse me, the Bone-tithe Nexus, which is their terrain feature, which I have mixed thoughts about. It looks huge, which is awesome. See, Deadly Gaze. In your hero phase, you can choose for this terrain feature to unleash one of the following punishments. This is just an offensive tower thing. So, Punishment of Agony. Pick 1 enemy unit wholly within 18 inches of the terrain feature, invisible to it. On a 4-up, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by that unit until your next hero phase. I'll read the next one, and you can get the last 2. So, Punishment of Death. Pick 1 enemy unit in 36 inches of this terrain piece. On a 2-up, it suffers 1 mortal wound. you want to grab Ignorance and Lethargy?
Punishment of Ignorance. Pick one enemy wizard within 36 inches. That's a big bubble.
Yep.
Of this feature, invisible to it, and roll a dice. On a 2-up, subtract 1 from casting, dispelling, and unbinding until your next hero phase. Ooh, that's good. I love that. Okay. Punishment of Lethargy. Pick one enemy unit wholly within 18 of this terrain feature, invisible to it, and roll a dice. On a 4-up, the unit cannot run until your next hero phase, and a d6 is used to make the charge roll instead of 2d6. That's really good. Say somebody has a Go Trek. Like, sorry, dude, you wasted 540 points. So you're going 4 inches on a 4-up, though, so it's not a guarantee. But yeah, these are all good.
I'm looking at the rule. So because everything has a range, I'm looking at where it gets deployed. So it must be set up in the player who owns its territory, more than 3 inches from any objectives, and more than 6 inches from the edge of the battlefield.
It looks gigantic.
It is, and I think that's why they don't give you a rule on how far from enemy territory, because it's beefy. So I mean, you can get it like up in there in the battlefield to be able to do those 18 and 36 inch range things. That's huge. Let's see. I will say that is far more of a incentive to buy the terrain piece than the Mawpot was for the for the Mawtribes.
Yeah, man, these guys seem really good.
Let's see. I'm gonna look at the battalions right quick. Just a brief thing because we haven't looked at the units yet, but basically I always, when I'm building a new army, I pick a battalion that I like and kind of build it from there because it's a good little guide. We have the
seems like there's a lot of units put in these battalions, so no, decent amount. I want to see, are any of these battalions have the catapults? That's where I'm starting.
Death Riders. They're called the Crawlers. Yeah, the Ballisterii at the bottom right.
Oh, there we go. Oh ho!
Has 2 of them. 1 unit of the basic bros to defend them, and then a hero with them, which is kind of how a lot of these things go. It's a hero, maybe a lower hero, like a support caster or something like that, and then whatever unit the battalion's all about.
I might make a roll 2 of these Vortec Bellistar battalions.
Yeah, you want to read that one off if it interests you? Go ahead.
What's that?
If it interests you, go ahead and read it off.
Oh, okay. So you need 1 Mortison Boneshaper, that's the wizard type guy, I think. 1 Mortec Guard unit, and 2 Mortec Crawlers. Roll a dice before you allocate a wound or mortal wound to a Mortec Crawler from this battalion while it's within 3 of a unit of guard from the same battalion. Okay, so it gets a add 2 to. Okay, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Roll.
There's a lot of wordiness. This is going to be a annoying Battletome at the first year of competition.
Add 2 to the roll if the Mortec Crawler is within 3 inches of the Bone Shaper from the battalion. On a 4-up, a wound or mortal wound is allocated to the guard instead of the Crawler. So it just lets you live a little more. So you keep your 15 damage shot. That's cool. So yeah, you have a 4-up shrug.
Yeah.
Where it allocates the wound to the guard instead of the catapult.
Yep.
Catapults.
Let's see. So one that stands out to me, and this is just because of the units, like it's based solely on models that I do plan on taking, is the Aegis Immortal Battalion up here in the top right. And this is 1 unit of Morghast Archai, which is the Archai unit who, the Morghast unit who has a 5-up super save, and 2 units of Immortis Guard. Those are basically, they're the elite infantry that have the shield and they can tank wounds for a hero. And they have a 2-up save in the Petrifex Elite thing that I want to take the subfaction that I like the paint scheme of. And so basically what this allows them to do is basically share abilities that they have. So the Morghast Archive from this unit can tank wounds for heroes just like the Immortis Guard. And similarly, when you use the Soulbound Protector's ability for a unit from this battalion, and the dice rolls a 5 up, the wound and mortal wound is negated instead of being allocated to a unit from this battalion. So it makes them better at tanking things. And I think that's pretty stinking sweet, because I just feel like it's an easy way to get a command point, an artifact, and keep your hero safe for that consistency every turn. And I think that's super cool. And then everything else I would take below that is infantry. So yeah, that's it for the battalion. So we had some people who were super interested in going in over the Katakros, Mortarch of the Necropolis.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'll let you start this one because I just rambled on about my battalion thing. So you go ahead, and wherever you feel like stopping, I'll take over.
Katros is the Mortarch, the big, guy with 4 different people on his base, big base, 4-inch movement, which is, not very fast.
Yep.
3+ save, which is nice. 20 wounds.
Yep.
Bravery 10, but that doesn't really matter. All right. So we'll go for the description. Katakros is a named character that is a single model. He's armed with the Indad Kahat and Shield of Mortis. Hopefully I said that right.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. I'm laughing because I gave you all the hard pronunciations.
Accompanied by a Gnosis Skull Bearer that attacks with the Naderite Dagger, a Prime Necro. Oh man, the attacks with the. Okay, we're gonna skip all that. Let's go to the abilities. Okay, he has a lot of guys. They attack with different stuff.
Yep.
The companions that currently occupy Katakros vary depending on the number of wounds suffered by the model, as shown on the damage table. You can only use the companion abilities on the right for the companions currently occupying Katakros, and only those companions can attack. For all other rules purposes, companions are treated in the same manner as a mount. Okay. So abilities, Deadly Combination. If unmodified hit roll for attacks made with the Shield of Mortals is 6, the attack inflicts 2 mortal wounds on the target in addition to normal damage. Let's go see what the Shield of Mortals does. All right, it has a 1-inch range. If you take no wound, okay. It can't be used if you haven't taken any wounds. It can only be used if you've taken 13 or more wounds.
This is Katakros' shield, so you have to kill all of his companions, work your way up to him, and he's the final boss with the shield. Yeah.
And so it'd be 3s to hit, 3s to wound, -2 and 2 damage. And then a 6 would be 2 mortal wounds in addition.
Which is nasty.
Okay, then we're gonna go Mortarch of the Necropolis. Oh, sorry about that.
Let me know if you need to take that. It's no problem.
Then we're at the start of your heal phase. If this model is on the battlefield, you can pick up to 3 different friendly Ossiarch Bonereaper units wholly within 24 of this model. For each of those units, you can either heal up to 3 wounds allocated to that unit, or if no wounds are allocated to it, you can return a number of slain models to the unit with a combination wounds characteristics of 3 or less.
Yep.
That makes sense?
Yep. No, yeah. There's a minor hero with that same ability, so those things would stack too.
All right, and then we'll go to the Naderite weapons. If the unmodified hit roll for attacks made with this Naderite weapon is 6, it's 2 hits instead of 1. And see, there are 2 different Naderite weapons. There's a dagger and the dueling blades.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm going to pass it off to you so I can take this phone call.
Okay. Valiant, you have a question. Can they ally with Nighthaunt? They have no allies whatsoever. So I'm going to go into command abilities here. And so his command ability, Endless Duty. You can use his command ability in your shooting phase or any combat phase. If you do so, pick 1 friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers unit that's wholly within 12 inches of a model with this command ability. Add 1 to the attack's characteristic of weapons used in that phase. You can't pick the same unit more than once, I believe. Their basic guy has the same thing. Yes. So that's cool. Supreme Lord of the Bonereaper Legions uses command ability in the start of your hero phase if Katakros is your general, which, I mean, if you're going to bring him, why wouldn't you make him your general? If you do so, until your next hero phase, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Bonereaper units while they are wholly within 18 inches of this model, and add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target friendly Mortis Praetorian units. And 1 to save rolls while they are wholly within 18 inches of this model. What's a Mortis Praetorian? Mortis Praetorian. Is that the elite guys? Because that would be super stinking funny. Mortis Praetorian. I'll have to look for it later. I'm not seeing a Mortis Praetorian. Maybe it's just his, and so that's what they're talking about. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's your heroes, your low-level heroes. Okay, cool. So that's it for Katakros. Now, one thing I wanted to point out. So the way that the Warscroll works, basically, is Jack he went through it really quickly, but when he first starts, you have to fight through all of his companions to get to him. The reason I think this Warscroll is going to get a lot of errors, and you have to be on the lookout for it when you're playing against it, is because as these wounds are being taken, the companions are dying, and so you lose access to the following abilities that I'm about to talk about. So basically you have all the people he listed. The Spy Master, who is not the first to die, but he's up there. Once per turn, you can roll a dice when your opponent receives a command point. If you do so, on a 4-up, that command point is lost, so he can be stealing command points from you. At the start of your hero phase, you can pick one enemy unit. This is from the Scroll Bearer. Until your next hero phase, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by that unit. Made by that unit that targets friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers. That's huge. And the last one is the Prime Necropolis. That's the companion there. When you use this model, Supreme Lord of the Bonereaper Legion's command ability, it affects friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers in 36 inches instead of 18. So there's a lot of stuff here. Mogwai Man just pointed it out. There's so many rules that there's going to be mistakes. Like, you have to ask your opponent, which of his companions is alive? What buff do they give? Like, that's going to be really important. It's not just about what weapons he has access to, because he loses those too. But yeah, so you have to go all the way through his retinue. That's why he has 20 wounds on a 3-up save. Jack, can you reliably kill a 20 wound 3-up save dude that has a 6-up?
It'll take a while. It's not happening right away.
Okay, right on.
It seems like, okay, because you don't have the command ability to give yourself rerolling ones to hit,
right?
Or rerolling ones to your save, so you'd have to get Mystic Shield. But that guy's gonna be tough to kill. But he's also very slow.
He is incredible. Well, he's got to move the entire friggin' statue he's standing on. He only moves 4 inches. So he is also 500 points.
Woo!
So he is pricey, but between the buffs he can offer, the denying of so he can get he can steal not steal it, but deny you a command point on a 4-up. Sorry. That stuff's huge. So yeah. I like him. He's not going to be in every list. He is keyworded to the Mortis Praetorians, the first subfaction we saw, so he can't be taken with the guys who have a 2-up save or deny spells, that kind of stuff.
Like Hammers of Sigmar.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And I think, I might be wrong, but I think aside from Arcan and Nagash, I think almost all of the named characters are keyworded to that specific one.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, well, I'm very impressed with the Bonereapers.
Yeah. Let's see. Does he have a way to be sped up?
Cogs.
Yeah, cogs. And you can use the extra 3-inch move spell on command ability on himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. And then there's Nagash, who they changed so he doesn't know all of the death hero spells. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, okay.
So he doesn't know the auto kill in addition to Hand of Dust, from what I understand.
Interesting.
I might be wrong. Maybe I just didn't read it. He's another one that has just a wall of text. Yeah, like obviously we've had this book for less than, I've had mine for like 15 hours, so we haven't gone through all of the War Scrolls. That's going to take some time. I want to do another chat when we have a second to go through it more. But honestly, there's a lot of spellcasters. There's actually quite a few spellcasters. I think there's like 4 or 5, and that's pretty huge. The main unit I really honestly want to focus on is the Mortet Guard, the basic infantry of this army, who has that lieutenant who can also do most of the command abilities in there, is super cool. They can be in units of 10 going up to 40. I don't know why you would ever take 40, but you can. They're fairly elite. They're 1 wound, 4 up save, 2 attacks, and if you take their basic sword, they're 3 up, 4 up, which is not a bad stat, because not a ton of stuff gives you a debuff to your wounds. Rend 1, damage 1, and I like that. That's a cool thing. Exploding 6s, you turns into 2 hits instead of 1.
I'll go over my unit I want to talk about. The Mortet Crawler, the catapult.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so it has 3 different kind of shots. There's the before shooting with the Dread Catapult, choose either the Necrotic Skulls, Cauldron of Torment, or Cursed Steel Weapon. Characteristics. Okay, each Dread Catapult can make only 1 Cauldron of Torment or 1 Cursed Steel attack per battle. Oh, per battle. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, anyway, that's fine because the one I would be doing is the Necrotic Skulls.
Go for it.
That is, there's a 6-inch minimum range. So if these guys are in combat, they can't shoot.
Yep.
You have to shoot what you're in combat with, and if there's a unit within 6 inches, like you just can't shoot them because they're base to base with you.
Mm-hmm.
But it is 3 attacks, hits on 2s, which is amazing. Even though you don't have the reroll 1s to hit command ability, wounding on 3. Okay, that's good. Here's where it's like, okay, there's no rend. But hey, it does 5 damage when you're at full. So that's potential 15 damage. And let's check out the Cauldron of Torment. Do not use the attack sequence for an attack made with the Cauldron of Torment. Instead, pick 1 enemy unit that is within range and roll 1 dice for each model in that target unit. Add the modifier from the Cauldron of Torment shown on the damage table above. For each roll, if the result is equal to or greater than the unmodified bravery characteristics of the target unit, 1 model from the unit is slain. And this is the bravery characteristic like on the stat wheel.
Yep.
I think. Right. Cauldron of Torment, if you're at full health, it's a dash. And so you're rolling hopefully above the bravery. So for Stormcast, it's a bravery 7. So this won't even hurt them. Because you're rolling 1 dice. But for low bravery models, this is really good. Okay.
Yep.
Let's go against Curse.
If you huck it at Clan Rats or something like that, it's awesome.
Do not use the attack sequence for attacks made by this. Instead, pick 1 enemy model that is within range of the attack and roll 2d6. Add the modifier of the Cursed Steel shown on the damage table above. If the result is equal to or greater than the wounds characteristics of that target, it's slain. So you pick a model, and the model is slain.
Yes.
So I think you can snipe out like a bear. I don't think wounds carry over, though, with this.
Note that the chance of slaying a target of Cursed Steel increases as the attacking model suffers damage.
Yeah.
So it gets better at killing a specific thing as it gets hurt.
This would be interesting because you can select a specific model. Say if they have a big unit of cavalry.
Yeah.
And it's your turn, you can snipe out 1 guy in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the battle round, they will lose half their unit because of cohesion.
Yeah.
Coherency. Or so you can snipe out somebody's banner, somebody's... this is really good. You can eliminate half a freaking unit.
If you do it right. And then especially in the mirror match, this will be super fun because you can snipe out the lieutenants that allow them to do command abilities.
But it gets better. Like you had a -3 to begin with.
Yep.
It gets better. It goes -3, -1, dash, +1, +3. But yes, and you don't have to, you can choose. You don't have to build it and pick, this thing can only do the Cauldron of Torment. This is, this is really good.
But, so that one can only be shot once per game, right? You can only make 1 Cursed Steel attack per battle.
Okay, that's good.
But I mean, if you hurt yourself or if you get hurt, the idea of rolling 2d6 plus 3 as the wound characteristic that you can snipe out is huge. Because it's on average that's 7, right? 2d6 is 7 plus 3 will make it 10.
And like, if you're like me and you're running 4 of these, it's pick 2 of the things, people in the unit, and definitely make sure that they're out of coherency.
Yeah. I see Lore Master Sotex in the chat. Hello, my friend. Hello.
Oh man, big fan, Lore Master Stotek. You helped me get back into Warhammer, listening to your lore videos.
And then he dropped you like a sack of potatoes and met his new friend Doug with 2+ stuff.
It's too much for me. I got baby ears.
Let's see here. The Endless Spells, they just did the preview of like the day I got this book, so I haven't read them in depth yet. I know they have like their soul linked to their caster, which is an interesting idea. So like I said, let me read those a bit more. I want to do a video that has a more like concrete thought about this. But like I said, people were like, "Oh my God, they're immune to battle shock. They don't use command points. They generalize crap in there." There's a lot of knee-jerk reaction to how good this was. I think they're good, like straight up. But I think the balancing act between heroes for consistent discipline points and units, because neither of those things are expensive. Like all the heroes that are really good at stuff come in like 200 points. Like I think it'll be just fine. Honestly, nothing stands out as like, did the playtesters not even see this kind of thing? What are your thoughts? High level.
I think they're just really good. I think they're going to be a tough army to fight against. They definitely, I think they're going to be 4-1. I mean, at the top. I think they're upper tier kind of thing.
Well, that's why I'm going to play them, just to make you feel bad. So, let me go ahead. Any closing thoughts for the stream, Jack? I'll let you go because I know you're probably itching to get away.
Yeah, I got some models to build. We try to get content on the channel for us.
Yep.
Books, we got to do battle reports and stuff. So
so go get busy, friends. If you have any follow-up questions or want to expand upon more stuff, leave it in the comments down below after this video is finished processing, and we'll go ahead and get them answered. Until then, this is brought to you by whatever Jack just drank, and we'll catch you all later. Thank you so much for watching.